we are live. Welcome to Real Talk with Andres and Heather, the podcast where we say the quiet part out loud about real estate, business, and the situations nobody warns you about, all while being live. So if we have any errors or mistakes, they are not edited out.
And we usually have one or two of those throughout the day. And this isn't coaching from stage to reel of highlight reels or social media. This is real stories, real mistakes, and real consequences from agents, buyers, sellers, and business owners living it in real time. So if you're tired of the sugar-coated advice, fake gurus, and playing small because nobody tell you about it and how it really works, you're in the right place. I'm Andres, and this is Heather. Let's get into some real talk.
Let's get into some real talk. We've had a lot of real birthdays this week.
We had over the past, yeah, absolutely. I think it's going by fast, huh? These years are just flying by. I just remember we were celebrating New Year's, and we shut down the podcast for 2 weeks during the year, and then it just been running ever since. And you were not on board Thursday, which I totally screwed up. If you haven't watched that video, I totally screwed it up live. So
I haven't watched. I bet you did fine. I'm sure you did good.
I don't know about that. It just shows I need Heather here. So how was the birthday with your grandson?
It was good. No, his birthday was really good. We went out there and had lunch, took him to the park, and he has a little like bumper car thing that he drives. And then he got a new bike from his great grandparents. So he was riding his bike, and then his sister was in the little bumper car. So it was good. And then your birthday was shortly after that.
Yeah, I spent it at work at a new community, and then just went out to dinner afterwards. But really, my birthday gift was the next day. The next day, one of the local bookstore, they have used books, wide range of animes, vinyl books, kids section, toys, all the video games, classic video games. Like I go in there, and every time I go in the stores, I'm there for at least an hour and a half. You take me to any other store, I'm bored within 5 minutes. Sometimes I don't even go in. I told my wife and the kid, like, you guys go shopping. I'll wait in the car. I'm bored. For somehow, I'm just not, I don't have the patience anymore. But you walk me into that store, and I'm a kid again. So they had a sale over the weekend that every used book was a penny per page. So I thought that was a great deal. You were getting books that were $7, $10 to $15. You were getting them for less than $3 because of the number of pages in the book.
That's awesome.
They limited you to 5. So I had my wife create an account and say, okay, so you have 5 books. But if you don't have 5, if you can't find 5 books, I'll use the remaining one. So yeah, I came out of there with 7 books. And she had 3 books. So Jay was great. I love that. Some great titles. I'm excited to sit down and get reading. And then it was your birthday this week as well. So we had birthday within the same weekend. So that's
We
great.
did. Yeah. No.
One of these years we have to get together and celebrate all of them. Tony.
Right, just a giant birthday bash.
Yeah, that's it.
When's Ellie's birthday?
January.
Okay, so he's January. Tony's January. She's February. We're March. Yeah, so we can just do it like a giant birthday bash, and that'll cover.
So yeah, so them two are January, and
He's
March,
February.
so.
She's January. He's February.
Okay.
And we're March.
I'll see. There you go. So we come on, make it all happen.
Like the first 3 months of the year, and then we're done. We're like, that's it. All birthdays are handled.
Yeah, everybody else, you get. So man, and today, Heather, what else is going on in the business world for you?
Well, I don't know about the business world right now, but I know in the allergy world, everybody's dying.
Sign me up for that one. It's been crazy. I think people saw on Thursday, my allergies been acting up. My eyes, everything for the past 2 weeks is just nonstop sneezing, watery eyes. It's been bad. So definitely, I'm on that wagon. of the allergy trend.
I know everything is covered in yellow. Most of our cars are black. My car's not black, but Tony and then our son's car is black, and it's just they're yellow now. So everything's covered and
Yeah.
everything is just covered in pollen. It's everywhere. And normally allergies don't really bother me, but this year, man, they've they've gotten to me. So it's pretty bad this year. If the allergies are bothering me, it's pretty bad. But back to the relevant work part of it. Um, we're still dealing with the AI wars and technology and everything that's it's an interesting time. It's a crazy time right now, but we are very, very close, you and I, to launching what we're going to be launching. And I'm super excited about that. Super excited about the people we're having that have already like signed up to sign up. And so they'll be the very first ones that get to use it and experience it. And it's really interesting. What I'm seeing a lot right now is kind of what we've talked about over and over again. A lot of people just throwing things up just to have like something up and to be part of the movement and be part of like the first ones to have something, and then it crashes or it doesn't do well. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. And then a lot of it isn't even really their fault, because you're only as strong as your foundation. And there's been a lot of days where the major players are having issues with their OpenAI sources. So I'll go to use something and that system is down. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? But if your system, needs that system, relies on that system because you've stacked things, it kind of puts a halt on what you're doing too. But as overall, these things are amazing and they're definitely going to be industry changing. However, I think the fear of AI putting everybody out of a job is unfounded. Now, some people will be put out of a job, but it's not going to be everybody.
But that's the reality of it, and I think we saw it coming. We just didn't expect it as fast as it is coming out,
Yeah.
right? And then it's gonna catch people by surprise, and it's still they know about it, they see it, and yet when that decision happens, most likely they'll be surprised when it does. But of course, there's some human elements that are necessary in every business, and I think that's also where you have to go in and identify what that is and improve on it, and at the same time, you can use the AI tools to provide an even better service on what you're doing. So, just a matter of how you're looking at it and how you are implementing it in your business.
It is. And about, who's going to sit here and argue with your AI every single day? I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm the one who's sitting here arguing with my AIs. It's funny because so I use Claude Code work, Anthropic basically, and there'll be times where I'll give it a prompt to do something and it'll do like half of what I said to do, and then it'll tell me it hit like blockages or for whatever reason it couldn't do the other part of it, and it'll give me like an itemized list of do this, and this. And I'm like, no, if I wanted to do it, I would have done it. I told you to do it. So then I have to go in and reword the prompt, or maybe like do something that, prevented it from doing what it needed to do so it can do it. So I'm not horribly worried about AI taking over, because there's multiple times now I've experienced where it wasn't able to complete a task without, human intervention, but it's learning and at a rapid pace. So soon we won't be in that position where I have to go in every time and restructure what it needs to do, because it'll just learn how to do what I'm asking it to do without me having to do that. So
I was going to
it's
say
definitely
that,
interesting.
and it keeps growing and it keeps adjusting, and like you said, it's going to keep identifying what it needs to solve the task that it has in front of it that it currently cannot do. And at some point, it's just going to be like, okay, is this what I need to learn? Let me learn it. Let me attach the skills, and then come back and get it done.
Yep.
And don't you wish like we were like that in the same capacity? So we do. It just takes us a lot longer to process all that and learn it and then apply it.
It does. We're just not as good at storing memory. Well, sometimes the computers aren't good at that either. You have to program them to do that. But we're not as good at being able to just like pull a file from the back of our brain and insert that into, the situation that we have. So it it has its benefits, though. I can definitely tell you that I've gotten way more accomplished, more quickly than I would have if I did not have these tools.
Exactly, and that's a key word. You accomplish a lot more than you would have if you didn't have tools. And then depending on what you're doing and what area of the business you're implementing it, just imagine, you know, the outcome of it in some businesses. It's just triple the production in some areas that right now someone is doing by themselves.
And then I get, like spoiled and have unrealistic expectations, and I'll give it an assignment and it'll come back and it'll tell me, okay, it's going to take me like an hour and a half to complete this. And I'll be like, an hour and a half? No, 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 no. Have it done in like 5 minutes. I'm like, that's not realistic. But for me, I expect that instant gratification. And even with AI, that's not possible sometimes when you're asking it to create something that, would have taken me like a couple of weeks. And then I'm just expecting AI to just be like, boom, it's done.
Imagine having you as a boss. You're like 3 hours. Hell no, you got 30 minutes. Let's go get it done.
No, for real. Like for real. As I need to work on my unrealistic expectations. I'm like, if I can think it, you should have it done by the time the thought has left my brain.
You have a showing agent for you. Hey, I'm gonna show these three properties. You have 2 hours and they're 45 minutes apart.
Right?
Okay. Good luck.
Like, what about
Yeah,
traffic? Not my problem.
yeah, you get there, you show the property.
Figure it out.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, Heather. Man. Hey, actually, and today's one of our what would you do segment, and I have a scenario along this line of what you were just talking about. So this is perfect. This is perfect timing. So you ready for this?
I'm ready for it. And just
All
so you know,
right.
guys, to our listeners, this is a dramatized story, not a real client situation. But every single scenario that we talk about is based on situations that agents and clients and business owners experience all the time.
And this particular scenario, it may be happening soon rather than later, depending on how things are implemented. So I'll call it the digital gatekeeper, right? So you own the local table. It's a restaurant, a high traffic restaurant, bakery for the past 10 years. You've run everything manually, Heather. Paper tickets, basic cash register, and phone in orders. Your staff knows every regular by name, but your overhead is high, and you're losing money on human error, forgotten side dishes, lost receipt, and ordering too much flour that ends up expiring, right?
Okay.
So, all right. A sleek tech company offers you an AI integrated management suite, right? It replaces everything. Auto ordering sensors in your pantry track usage and automatically places order with suppliers when stock is low. Your digital presence handles all reservations, Yelp reviews, Instagram DMs, menu offers, right? And Smart Receipt, it tracks customer habits to send personalized with Mitsu coupons. So it's like you're walking into Walmart, Target type of thing, right? They already track all of the movement that you do at the stores, and all of a sudden you get it, you know, you get an ad for that particular product that you looked at. So the system is a closed loop. To get efficiency, you have to give up control, and you don't get to double check the orders before they go out to supplier. And the AI voice in messages sounds professional, but a bit cold. So now here's the problem. On Thursday night, one of your biggest weekend of the year, there's a local festival that starts tomorrow. You notice that the AI order has flagged your tomato delivery as unnecessary because it predicted some rainy weekend lower foot traffic, but your local weather app says that you're going to have a sunny, beautiful day. And now the unfamiliarity. You try to override the system, but the interface is made predictive analytics. You don't, the dashboard that you don't understand. You have no idea how to place a manual order anymore because the old supplier accounts were migrated with the AI encrypted portal. And your floor manager is panicking because the new digital kiosk is hallucinating wait times, telling customers 2 hour wait time, and half the tables are empty. So this is what would you do moment, right? The system is optimizing for maximum profit per seat. It's cutting costs on inventory and managing the crowd to ensure the kitchen doesn't crash. You don't touch the setting, you just trust the data and it goes back manual. If you go back to manual, you will lose, you'll have 30% waste like last year. Do you take a step back and let the machine run the show? Or do you accept no longer a traditional shop owner, but a data manager, and you trust the AIs know something you've done about the festival crowd and inventory? Or B, do you go back to your comfort zone, manual override? You pull the plug on the automation for the weekend, you spend all night on the phone with suppliers trying to fix the orders manually, and go back to the paper tickets for the festival. The goal is the human intuition and the personal touch. So, what would you do,
And
Heather?
there's so much to unpack there. And so, how do you want me to answer this? Do you want me to answer it like somebody who is a programmer and knows how this should be done, or as like the business owner themselves? Both.
Uh, Pick one, and I do. If you want, I can do the business owner, and you do the
Okay.
programmer. How
Okay.
about
So
that?
you do the business owner. You go first.
All right. For someone who worked in the warehouse industry for a while, I love the automation. I love where that AI tool is integrated to help keeps the costs low on inventory, staff, and everything. I love that aspect of it. I think that's is an essential tool. But at the same time, given that it's a local event and it's a one-time event, it's hard for the system, if, especially as a business owner, if you're familiar with how event goes year to year, right? You have inside information, you have connections, you have relationships on what the previous year have worked on. I think this is a key point where you should definitely have a say more manually because the AI is used to predicting consistent outcome throughout the year and not necessarily these particular events. And coming in as a business owner, I think that would be a key moment to do that. Take control over that. Option B, order contact suppliers, order additional supplies that you will need for these events, and find a way to make it happen so that you have everything that you need on the table and you have that personalization with clients coming in. If you have some extra supplies afterwards that you feel you need to get rid of, you know, do an additional sales to bring things back on track and not lose as much inventory if there's an you know overload of supplies left. But I think it's essential to take control over that and be able to get what you feel you're going to need based on your experience and your connections, your relationship with the clientele that is coming in and is expected during the events.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think in that moment, in that situation, probably for that business owner, the best thing to do at that particular moment would be, yeah, to just halt the AI activity, go to manual for the weekend, get through the festival, and then go back to their regularly scheduled program with their AI because that festival is going to be important. Um, from the story, it sounds like this is a very mom and pop shop. That their whole business model is like customer service, hands on, like a face, not AI. It's very like, um, customer facing. What's the word I'm looking for? Small business type, where they're the ones. It's an actual person, not a machine, that's running this business. So to go from that to straight up everything being AI is a huge adjustment. Um, Now, that being said, I think it's definitely going to save them a lot of money in the long run, especially implementing something like that. However, there needs to be certain overrides, and then also every every system is going to have hallucinations. It's going to have glitches. It's going to mess up on occasion. And anybody says that ours doesn't do that is they're lying, because it does. And there's no way to, I mean, there's going to be outages. There's going to be things that happen. Um, it's all about the customer service of the system that you have and how they deal with that and how they handle that and make sure that they can get it back up and running. But there needs to be, like, for example, yes, it's going off of data and it's saying, okay, based on like the weather and based on, the customer patterns, we're not going to be busy this weekend, but you have this event coming up. There needs to be a way to enter that into the system. There needs to be a way for them to say, hey, we have a catering order, or we have an event that we're doing, or, because like you don't know if you're going to have a wedding or you're going to have like this event thing that they're talking about doing. And you need to have a way to put that in the system, and the system be able to handle that. And right now it doesn't seem like they have that. And then there needs to be an override for when the system is hallucinating and it's like there's a 2-hour wait and you're like, there is nobody here. There needs to be a way to override it and be like, manual override, no, there is no 2-hour wait. There's nobody here. And it doesn't seem like they have that in place as of yet. So
Yeah.
those need to be there, and maybe depending on the type of program it is and how like flexible the system is, if it's an all or nothing, then it's an all or nothing. But maybe they don't want the entire package. Maybe there's certain things that they want to keep, the hands on, the manual, and maybe when people call booking reservations by hand is something that they want to keep manual. That's up, up to them if they want to do that. But I definitely think like the ordering and the invoicing, the books, everything like that should be done with the AI systems if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a number of there's different levels that you can implement in there, and in this case, you said it sounds that there should be a manual override for orders and for tables, because saying there's a 2-hour wait, and if I'm a customer and I looked online and and it's telling me there's a 2-hour wait, and then you call the place and no, it's empty. Please come in. Like, hold on. A lot of people that if they're able to see that information online may be okay. Let me go somewhere else, just because they saw online there's a 2-hour wait. So that's a very important
Well,
detail that needs to be looked into. Um, because if the system is hallucinating like that, you're losing deals, you're losing customers, right?
I don't know
So
what system they
certainly,
use, but the restaurant that Tony and I went to for lunch yesterday for my birthday, I looked online and it said they were closed, and I'm like, oh man, they're closed. And he called them and he's like, they're open. So I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. And I'm like, it seemed weird that they'd be closed in the middle of a day on a Monday, but it was a gluten-free restaurant. The entire restaurant was gluten-free. So I'm like, maybe. I mean, they keep weird hours sometimes when they're specialized restaurants. So who knows? But yeah, so like little things like that.
no, it definitely, because think about all the people that looked online and just don't bother to call, you know? And if that information is not updated, you're losing customers and you don't even know about. And it's identifying with the AI the little things that are going to bring more traffic in, and that you're able to save a lot of money uh, and integrate the automations in place, so that not only are you saving money, but you're saving time from yourself, time from staff that can be allocated elsewhere. And it's really sitting down and identifying this area, and not just integrating a system that will automate a number of things. And then you have a situation like this where you cannot override it and if you override it, it will completely shut it down. So there has to be a way to override certain areas and making sure that things are updated consistently to maximize the traffic coming in.
That just seems to me like a bad setup that you can't override anything. Otherwise, it would shut the whole thing down. Because, like, for me, I would say no. I need a system where, yes, it'll like audit everything and it'll put the order together, but I need to approve the order before the order goes out. Because again, what if it hallucinates and instead of like 3 pounds of tomatoes, because that's what it said we need, it orders like 300 pounds of tomatoes, and then I have like all these tomatoes show up and I couldn't cancel the order because it wouldn't let me cancel the order. So I I definitely think you need to have control over what orders are placed would be like my main thing. But
Yeah, and it's in it says it's more like just sending those for approval right before going out. And certainly, there's some adjustment to be made in that particular AI tool. I think it's a great idea. Then they're you know right track. It's just a matter of making a small adjustment to maximize its use and better usage and protect the owner. Because like I said, you instead of 30, you have 300 pounds of tomato. That's a shitload of tomatoes.
right, and then talk about like what are you gonna do with all those tomatoes? And then when they go bad, and you're like, when I just spent all this money on these tomatoes, it's gonna be one hell of a festival.
I guess they're gonna be making tomato sauce now.
But
So
yeah, so for what would you do on this? I would definitely just stop the program for the weekend and go back to manual and get it all under control, and then go back and then maybe have a meeting with whoever it is that's operating my platform and be like, this setup isn't quite working. We need to tweak some things and go from there.
absolutely, I totally agree. I think shutting it down for the weekend, running the festivals, and then making adjustment afterwards to ensure that it's working accordingly to what you need, and it's able to identify and input the data of the festival to help prepare for future events.
Yep.
So, so yeah, I think it's a great scenario. We may see a lot of this happening. Because I bet you there's already places like that are integrated with AI tools in their business, and there's more to come. So, so I'm excited to see more and more cases like this and see how they're integrated it into different businesses. Because again, I think it's a thing moving forward.
And it's going to be a learning process for everybody. It really is, because there's a lot of people who are resistant to it, and then there's people who are hesitant. So it's just going to be a learning process and the learning curve for everybody.
It is as much as it is for the software company identifying everything that particular business needs, as well as the business themselves. What do they actually need it for? It's a learning process, but I think some collaboration they can tune in into exactly what it needs, and the AI itself will learn the necessary skills to be able to do the things that they need. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this team to be out there because again, I was in the warehouse industry for 12 years. I think it's an essential tool that will be helpful in some areas. But like I said, having that extra step to ensure that the order going out was crazy. Trust me, there was a number of times when I placed an order for an item, and when then my supervisor came back to me, my manager said, "Hey, did you really want to order 30,000 of these items?" I'm like, "No, can we bring that down?" And the funny thing is, sometimes the order even went through, and then I had the supplier calling me and saying, "Andres, I think you put the wrong number on this order, and your team didn't catch it." And I was sitting there with a $50,000 bill, and they're like, Yeah, actually, yeah, it's not that much. Yeah,
Well,
please adjust it."
hey, at least they called you and they weren't just like, woohoo, big order. you know?
You know what? There were some people that, and here's the key part of a business that would never change. the relationships, right? Because there's a few people that I built relationship with that every time they saw something was off, they call me up. You know, even the truck drivers, if they see a number of pilots for an item, they will even tell me, "Hey, I got this number of pilots coming in. Is that okay, or should I take him back before I even offload him from the truck?" You know, and whether it was me or another team member that placed the order, they will call me and let me know, "Hey, I noticed this is more than usual. What's going on here?" And I'll let them know, "Oh, we just have a special project going on. I do need that many. Can I get that this week, or when can I expect the rest? If there's anything on back order." But that relationship, there's places that I didn't have that would just send the order. And next thing you know, I got to send them back. I got to process a return because you know what? It was an honest mistake. We put an extra zero in there. You know, I meant to order 25. I meant to order 20. I put 200. 200 cases of this thing. Like, and some people would just disregard and just process through. You know. So there's two things. It's the human element and actually caring about your job. So if you do and you pay attention to all those little things, you will identify that okay, my usual order is 30,000 and 90,000.
Well, it's good that you worked with the same group of people all the time, and everybody was on the same page, and nobody was, just trying to make a quick buck. So it all worked. It all worked out. So that's really good. But all right, guys, we got to wrap this up now. And you guys heard the story, so let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you would just shut everything down, or if you would just eat the cost of it, what would you guys do? Let us know what you would do in this situation.
Absolutely. And if this episode made you uncomfortable, fired up, or feel seen, good. That's the point. This show doesn't exist just to entertain. It exists to start a conversation, challenge, but advise and help you make smarter moves in real estate and in business.
And if you want to be part of this conversation, not just listening in, go to our website, www.realtalkha.com, and you guys can join our Real Talk community. You can be a spotlight guest, or you can jump on the show with us on Real Talk on What Would You Do, and Am I the Asshole, to weigh in and give your opinions.
Do us a favor and like it, share it, or send it to someone who needs to hear it.
And don't forget to subscribe so you guys never miss an episode, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you next time with more